Welcome to the Generational Wealth Podcast. Y'all, the Fed is about to raise the interest rates. Today, we're going to talk about what that means, how it affects you, and how you can make the most of your money right now before the expenses goes up. So make sure that y'all tap in, smash that like button, because this is going to be an amazing show. For those of y'all who don't know, my name is Uzziah. I'm a professional business consultant. And in 2013, I paid off over $95,000 in student loans 2 years after graduating from college. And this show is to show you how to create generational wealth. So if you guys want to learn how to do that, then please make sure that y'all support. Now, I want to give a special shout out to everybody who has joined my free webinar. Thank you to everybody who's on my new masterclass about the 3 keys to financial freedom. This is a free presentation that I put together showing you how to create generational wealth. It shows you how to set up passive streams of income so you can stop trading time for money. The average millionaire has over 7 different streams of income. So if you're still working off of only one income stream, it's time to catch up. Make sure that you watch that webinar. I'm trying to show you guys how to escape a fixed salary so that way you can finally work your way out of your 9-to-5 job. As a lot of you know, when I was 26, I retired from corporate America. So this is all about showing you the steps that you need to take to level up and reach financial freedom. Now, for those of you guys that want to know more about this webinar, here is the link in the comments below. It is totally free, but it is to help you become the best version of yourself and create the lifestyle that you want for you and your family. Now, let me take a quick second to give a shout out to everybody that's on. Shout out to Videos to Views. So good to see you on as always. Videos to Views says, yes, Uzziah, so happy to catch this live. Thank you for your great content. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, fam. Thank you so much for all the support. Lupe says, blessings, everyone. Glad I could join. Shout out to Lupe. Also, Lupe says, I completed a 0 to 6 figures module last night, and needing passive income has been all up in my ear since. Listen, Lupe, you got to tell them. Everything that I put into my programs is things that you've never been taught in school. You've never been taught it by your family and friends, but it is so very important to create real wealth. Guys, if all you're relying on is one income stream, it's going to be harder and harder to provide for your family. Things are getting very expensive. Inflation is up 7% over the past 12 months. And the reason why I keep putting out this content is because I'm trying to show you guys how you can make more money as easily as possible. I'm trying to show you guys how you can work smarter, not harder. That's the reason why this podcast exists. So please make sure that you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't yet done so already. Please make sure that y'all continue to show support. And since you guys are focusing on building wealth, I always talk about why business ownership is so important. The average millionaire in America today is a business owner. Over 2/3 of all millionaires own their own businesses. And one of the things that I'm very big about on this channel to help you guys get started is promoting your businesses online for free. That's right. Because my channel is all about helping you create generational wealth, I'm supporting the process of you guys getting out there with your own businesses. That's the reason why, if you are a business owner, all you have to do is reach out to me and I will promote your business on my podcast for free. You can get on, you can tell everybody what it's about. You can give us your website. You can give us all of the details. I will do that just for you. Okay. So please make sure for all of the aspiring entrepreneurs, you check out my content. I walk through steps on how to set up your own business. And for those of you guys that have made the jump to the other side, all you need to do is promote your business on here. So that way we can show you a lot of love and give you guys some support. Now, also, I'm not just going to give a shout out only to the starting up entrepreneurs. I'm also going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to all of the sponsors that keep the Generational Wealth podcast on air. Okay, I want to give a big shout out to Babalico. I want to give a big shout out to Lyra Texan. Everybody that donated last week, shout out to you. Okay. I got a lot of sponsors on this channel that have donated on a regular basis. Y'all know I give a lot of love to my brother Yasha Allah, Juice, LA for Life. Y'all can't forget about her. Sis Ariel, all of the sponsors that donate from day to day. Now, you may be new to this podcast and ask, well, what is a sponsor? A sponsor is someone who tunes in and helps to keep the show on air. I cannot do these podcasts without your support. And so in order to support this broadcast, all you got to do is tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box, because your donations, which are also known as sponsorships, is what helps to keep the channel going. Guys, you already know I have a very busy schedule. I own over $1 million worth of real estate on top of running a church. So when I get on these broadcasts, I'm giving you guys my time, my energy, and my labor of love. But I do need your sponsorships in order to keep the show going. We have a team that's supporting this broadcast. We're constantly looking for new ways to make this show that much better. So if you want to see the show on air, please make sure that you give your sponsorship. And as always, whoever makes the highest donation on this broadcast will be the official sponsor of this show. Okay, so please make sure that you tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box, and your sponsorship will go a very long way towards growing this channel. Even if you're watching this broadcast after the live stream is over, you can still donate. All you got to do is click the links in the description below. Okay. Now, let me put this ticker on here for y'all, just so that way I can tell y'all that the information is also on the screen. Y'all know a lot of times I like to have my little scrolling bar at the bottom, just so you could see everything that you need in order to support this channel. So y'all see that information is at the bottom of the screen right now. Make sure that y'all support. Lupe also said, Brother Uzziah, I may need to do a one-on-one session soon. I have to level up. Listen, for those of y'all that are looking to work with me privately, you can set up a one-on-one session. All you need to do is click the link below. I'm putting it in the comment section as well as on the screen. Okay, if y'all are looking to work with me privately so we can have a one-on-one for an hour, all you need to do is tap that link in the comments below. The information is on the screen. This is if you're looking to start or grow a business, if you're looking to set up new streams of income, if you're looking to get out of debt. Okay, as much as I can help you, I will do so. Shout out to my sister, LA for Life. LA for Life is in the house, y'all. Y'all know whenever LA for Life steps in, I got to acknowledge it, okay? So now we're about to talk about why the Fed is about to raise the interest rates, okay? We're going to talk about this, guys. I want you to make sure that you pay close attention to everything that I'm about to say, because I know some of this might sound like stuff that goes over your head and you don't know why this is being brought up, but this is so very important for your finances. I am going to break this down and make it simple and plain. The Federal Reserve is about to raise interest rates in the next month. The reason why that matters is because that affects how much money you'll be able to spend. The reason why the Federal Reserve is looking to raise the interest rates is because we are going through massive inflation. If you've watched this channel, then you know that over the past 12 months, inflation has gone through the roof. The price of gas is going up. The price of cars is going up. Whenever you go to the grocery store, everything is getting that much more expensive. And this is the reason why it's so important for us to generate new income streams. We have to make money just to survive. And so the Federal Reserve is looking to raise interest rates, all because they're trying to slow the economy down. They're trying to slow down the rate of inflation, but that's going to come with consequences. I'm going to tell you guys real quick what happens whenever interest rates go up, interest rates go down, why that matters for you, and what you can do right now to take advantage of the current economy before the interest rates go up. So let's talk about this. Whenever the Federal Reserve lowers the interest rate, that makes borrowing easier. That makes it easier to buy a house, to buy a car. This stimulates the economy. Whenever the interest rates are lowered, more people are going to go out and buy things. This is very important, okay? This not only affects the consumer, it also impacts businesses. When the lower interest rate kicks in, this has businesses spending more money towards equipment as well as employees. And guys, the reason why all of that matters is because this plays a part on how easily you can get a job. All of this plays a part into how much businesses are looking to spend money to give people higher raises so that you can walk away with more return on your investment. We spend all of our time working at these jobs, guys. It's time for us to walk away with the right amount of pay. But when the Federal Reserve raises the interest rates, this makes businesses cut down on their spending, which in turn lowers the workforce, which in turn also limits how much money you can make at a job. And this is the reason why I'm warning you guys now about the Federal Reserve raising these interest rates. See, y'all never hear them break this down like this on the news. You'll never hear them talk about how the interest rates going up or down is going to impact you as a consumer, you as a business owner, and how it affects prices. All of that stuff goes over people's heads.
Nope.
So the reason I created this podcast is to take concepts that sound more advanced than they are and break it down to its tiniest parts. Also, that way we can win. When the interest rates goes down, spending goes up. When the interest rates go up, spending goes down. It's as simple as that. I'm gonna look at these comments real quick to see what y'all are saying. Okay, LA for Life says, goodness, this is going to be good. Yes, tune in, LA, because I'm gonna go over some very important topics so that way y'all can level up when it comes to y'all's money. There's a lot of y'all right now that's looking to buying a house. Let me know in the comments below if you're looking to buy a house in 2022. Since the interest rates are going up, right now is the best time to buy a property if you're looking to do so this year. You got companies like Bank of America who are predicting that interest rates will go up 7 times this year. They're predicting that the Federal Reserve is going to raise the interest rates so much in one calendar year that it's going to go up 7 times just to try to slow down this inflation. So when those interest rates go up, all of the interest rates towards buying a home is going to get more expensive. The credit cards are going to get more expensive. The car loans, all of the different types of borrowing is going to get more expensive because they don't want people spending money. The more that people spend money during this season, the higher that inflation can go up. So y'all need to make sure that y'all are tuning in on what you need to be doing right now before those interest rates take effect. Okay, Dun says, Shalom, just tuning in. Lupe says that she's looking into buying a home possibly in late 2022. Oh, yeah, you in Southern California. Oh, man, I know the economy is through the roof out there. Lyra Texan says, so will this make it harder to obtain a loan? In some ways, yes, because as the interest rates rise, is going to make everything more expensive for consumers. So there are certain loans that are out right now that are very good and competitive. But once the Fed raises the interest rates, those offers are not going to be around. I'm going to give you guys a real example. In 2021, everybody and their mama was looking into refinancing their home. And the reason why they were doing that is because interest rates were at zero. Because of what happened with the pandemic, the Federal Reserve decided to keep interest rates as low as possible to stimulate the economy. They did not want everybody getting into panic mode saying, oh my God, the pandemic is here. Everybody's losing their jobs. We got to just save all of our money. Help, help, help. They didn't want people doing that. And so they kept interest rates at the bottom to encourage spending. This is the reason why they also gave out stimulus checks. But now, since we are 2 years removed from the pandemic coming to this country, the government is now looking to cut back on spending. They're starting to cut a lot of the relief programs. They're starting to raise the interest rates. And once this happens, it's going to be that much more expensive in order to take out the loans that you need in order to buy a house or buy a car. Now, for those of y'all that watch this broadcast, y'all always know I always talk about not taking out loans for things that don't really require it. When I'm talking about taking out loans for things that don't really require it, I'm saying don't buy Jordans on a credit card and get yourself into debt. Do not run up your credit card buying the latest iPhone. Similarly, when it comes to you buying a car, I always tell you guys about how when I've bought cars in the past, I've paid for them in cash. Now, sometimes you might find yourself in a situation where you got a car note. Some of you guys may even have a lease, but this is just to warn you guys, when the interest rates go up, it's designed for people to not get the best rates. They don't want you getting the best opportunities. They don't want people spending as much. That's the reason why they're raising this thing up. And we're going to talk all about this on this broadcast. So make sure that y'all smash that like button because today I am going in. Okay. Now, to recap, when the Federal Reserve lowers the interest rates, it's cheaper to borrow money. When the Federal Reserve lowers the interest rates, it also creates inflation. Businesses benefit from lower interest rates because they're looking to buy equipment at a lower price. Okay, it's easier to borrow, which also means it's easier to pay people, which then creates more jobs, giving people better pay. That's the reason why right now there's been a 5% increase in wages over the past year. Now, see, the problem is, guys, even though wages have increased over the past year, inflation has increased that much more. Even though the wages have increased by 5%, since inflation has gone up by 7, that still means that it's lowered your buying power. You've still gotten poor over the last year. This is the reason why the Fed is looking to step in. But when the Federal Reserve raises the interest rates, that means that you're not going to have as much disposable income as you once had. It means that you're going to have to cut back on your spending. And guess what? When the Federal Reserve raises the interest rates, that means the banks are not giving out as many loans. That not only affects us as consumers, it also affects businesses also, because the same businesses that were once spending out money, giving people jobs and buying new equipment for more production and labor, they're cutting back on spending, which means they don't have enough money to pay you. They're not going to pay you as much as they once did because everything in the economy is slowing down. If the consumer slows down on spending, that means it impacts businesses' bottom line. If you're not paying businesses to stay in business, that means that the businesses don't have the money to hire new people. Do y'all follow me? Let me know in the comment section. I'm trying to break this down as simply as I can and show you why this matters to you and why you need to be prepared, okay? Interest rates makes for higher borrowing costs. When this happens, it's going to make things more difficult. Okay, now I also want to talk about this as well, guys, because I know a lot of you guys are starting to invest in the stock market. When the interest rates goes up, that also causes problems in the stock market. Why? Because if consumers are not spending, that will then make stock prices drop. If businesses are not making enough money now that the consumers are not spending, that's going to affect their reputation on Wall Street. That's why all of this is surrounding the Federal Reserve and how when interest rates goes up, it makes a certain impact. And when interest rates goes down, it has an effect as well. And one of the things that I want you guys to realize is that when the Federal Reserve changes the interest rates, it's not always immediately felt. A lot of times it takes a good year from the time that the interest rates was changed for the average person in the economy to truly realize the impact of what has happened. And that's the reason why I do these podcasts now, so that before the interest rates go up, you already have a head start to make adjustments and build your wealth accordingly. Let me get back to these comments. Shout out to my brother Yasha Allah. Man, where has my brother been? My long lost brother Yasha Allah. Oh man, you made my day, King. You made my day. You made my day. LA for life knows, man. I've been missing my brother Yasha Allah. I hope that you're doing better, my friend. He says, Shalom, big brother. Just started to get over being sick. Miss you. Yeah, I missed you as well, man. I was wondering if me adjusting the times for the podcast was actually taking you out of the running. So thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much for your sponsorship. I've been shouting you out, man, day by day. For those of y'all that don't know, Yasha Allah is one of the top sponsors of the Generational Wealth podcast. Okay. Videos to View says He's following. Love the way that you're chopping it up, Uzziah. Very clear indeed. Also, shout out to my brother Roy Lyra Texan, the Israelite, for the $10 sponsorship. Y'all, I had to put my mic on mute real quick to get that cough off. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Once again, for those of y'all that are on tonight, we're talking about how the Fed is about to raise the interest rates, how you need to prepare your finances. I'm going to show you guys all of the things that you should be doing right now before the interest rates go up. Make sure that y'all smash that like button. This will tell YouTube to send this video out to more people to help to grow this channel. Also, please make sure, guys, that you do sponsor the show. If you like this content and you appreciate the value that I'm giving, please make sure that you donate. All you got to do is tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Or if you prefer to use Cash App or PayPal, the information is on the screen and the links are in the description below. LA for Life says, I shared this video. This is important indeed. Thank you so much, my sister. I really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, now I want to share with you guys this article. Now that I've given you guys the context about what happens when the Federal Reserve changes the interest rates, I'm going to share with you guys this article so that way what you're about to read makes more sense. Y'all know we try to stay educated over here, guys, because how can you make more money if you don't understand how money works? It says the Fed is about to raise interest rates and shaft American workers again. This article is by Robert Reich. Now, for those of you who don't know who Robert Reich is a former Secretary of Labor. Okay, he's one of the United States previous secretaries of labor, and he is a professor at UC Berkeley while also writing content on the side. He says, policymakers fear a labor shortage is pushing up wages and prices. Wrong. Real wages are down and workers are struggling. Now, guys, what this is saying is that Federal Reserve is blaming inflation on people not working out in the workforce. A lot of y'all are familiar with the Great Resignation, where a lot of people resign from their jobs. And because of this so-called labor shortage, that's actually motivated businesses to increase the price of wages for workers, which in turn also raises prices on goods and services. Robert Reich is saying, nah, that's not what's happening. The real thing is people just are not getting access to good enough jobs with good pay. And as a result, workers are struggling. This is a very interesting article. It says the January jobs report from the U.S. Labor Department is heightening fears that a so-called tight labor market is fueling inflation. This goes into what I just explained to you guys. With all of the people that quit their jobs, not as many people are a part of the U.S. workforce. Economists call that a tight labor market. It says that's what's fueling inflation, and therefore the Fed must put on the brakes by raising interest rates. Reich says this line of reasoning is totally wrong. Among the biggest job gains in January were workers who are normally temporary and paid low wages. Leisure and hospitality, retail, transport, and warehousing. So in other words, what he's saying is there's been people who have not only gotten jobs, but have actually gotten paid more money. Some of the people that might have even been working temp jobs during this time, because of everything that's going on in the economy, some people have actually gotten more pay within specific industries. It says in January, employers cut fewer of these workers than in most years because of rising customer demand combined with negative effects. I did that cough because I don't like to talk about these different pandemic words. YouTube be flagging it. Y'all see that word on the screen, you know what it says. Combined with negative effect on the supply of workers. Due to the Bureau of Labor Statistics seasonal adjustment, cutting fewer workers than usual for this time of year appears as adding lots of jobs. So what it's saying now is there's been a lot of people because of they've actually stepped out of a lot of these jobs, whether they've gotten sick, they can't work. The Great Resignation was all about people wanting better opportunities. A lot of people left the workforce because they said, in light of the lockdowns, they wanted to work in jobs that they felt had actual meaning. They didn't want to just punch some 9-to-5 working at a job that they hate. And that's changed the economy and workplace culture. It says Fed policymakers are poised to raise interest rates at their March meeting. See, your boy's been warning you. And then continue raising them in order to slow the economy. They fear that a labor shortage is pushing up wages, which in turn are pushing up prices, and that this wage price spiral could get out of control. Now, I want to make sure that you guys understand this point very clearly. What this is saying is that because of the labor shortage, that's causing businesses to offer higher salaries to keep people on the workforce, to incentivize them to stay having jobs, right? They're having to spend more money to get people back to work. And because they're having to spend more money, those exact same businesses are turning around and raising the cost of their goods and services, so that way the consumer actually pays for more workers to work. Do y'all follow me? This is what it's talking about when it talks about the wage price spiral. Businesses spend more money paying employees their wages, and then in turn raise their prices, and it keeps going back and forth. Higher wages, higher prices. Higher prices, higher wages. This is the reason why inflation is getting so high, because whenever one thing raises, another thing comes up. Robert Reed says it's a huge mistake. Higher interest rates will harm millions of workers who will be involuntarily drafted into the inflation fight by losing jobs or long overdue pay raises. Guys, why will people lose jobs and miss out on pay raises? Because of what I was drilling into you earlier. When the Fed raises interest rates, businesses cut back on spending. When businesses cut back on spending, you as the employee take a loss. They don't offer as many jobs. They don't offer as many raises. And now y'all know how this thing works. It says there's no labor shortage pushing up wages. There's a shortage of good jobs paying adequate wages to support working families. Raising interest rates will worsen this shortage. Now, I want y'all to notice the distinction. When Robert Reich says there's no labor shortage pushing up wages, there's a shortage of good jobs paying adequate wages to support working families. In other words, what he's saying is, if inflation is at 7%, why are we talking about how much these businesses are paying more money when the businesses are not even staying competitive with the cost of living. There's not enough businesses offering people jobs at the right amount of pay. Do y'all follow me? What Robert Reed says is, no, you can't blame this on the Great Resignation and how there's been a 5% increase in wages. There's a shortage of companies paying adequate wages to support working families. Why? Because if inflation went up by 7%, there's been a lot of working class Americans who just got pushed out. They got pushed out of certain opportunities to afford a cost of living, and that is going to affect you as the worker. Reach is saying it's not because of the labor shortage, it's because the companies are not paying enough. This means there's going to have more problems whenever the interest rates go up. Why? Because when the interest rates goes up, business spending goes down. This is a big problem right now in the US economy. Robert Reed says there's no wage price spiral either. Even though Fed Chief Jerome Powell has expressed concern about wage hikes pushing up prices. To the contrary, workers' real wages have dropped because of inflation. Even though overall wages have climbed, they failed to keep up with price increases, making most workers worse off in terms of the purchasing power of their dollars. That summarizes everything I just said. And see, this is the reason why we have to take very good notice of this, my community. Because when the elites get to talking this talk, because we don't understand it, that's the reason why we don't know how to create generational wealth. Knowledge is power. Now that you have the knowledge of what this is talking about, now you can say, okay, now I understand the difference between real wages versus overall wages. Generational Wealth Podcast put me on game. Real wages means what is your purchasing power? Overall wages means how much money are you getting paid on paper? People's overall wages have increased, but people's real wages have decreased because even if you were a part of an industry that paid out a 5% pay increase over the past year, your buying power still went down by 2% because the rise of inflation is 7%. If you got a 5% raise over the past 12 months, even though you made more money, in real life, you're still behind the 8 ball because the cost of living outpaced how much money companies paid. And that's the reason why Robert Reich is writing about this right now. So a lot of y'all, when you're focusing on creating generational wealth, you need to understand this is the reason why I always tell you guys, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. You make money determined by your overall wages. You keep money based upon real wages after inflation. Let me take a quick pause. Let me look at these comments. If y'all got any questions, let me know. If y'all got any comments, listen, man, I'm about to cam up in a little bit. I'm about to open up the panel. I want to see what y'all think about this talk. Shout out to my brother, Ak Aman. Good to see you on, Ak. He said, Shalom family, peace and blessings to you guys, man. Peace and blessings to y'all. I'm so happy that y'all are on, man. I didn't know if y'all got the memo that I started doing these shows just a little bit earlier. I appreciate the support. Man, the way that y'all are showing love today, I might have to keep this show going. I was thinking about falling back on the show for a good week, but the way that y'all are showing support, man, y'all are making me get back on. So thank you so much. Like my sister LA for Life said, hit that like button, family. LA for Life, I might have to make you a moderator on here. You talking a good one right now, sister. Make sure that you smash that like button. Today, we're talking about how you guys can prepare financially for the Federal Reserve raising interest rates next month. Okay, I'm trying to show you guys how you can preserve as much money as you can. But if you don't understand how the game is played, then you are going to be a victim once things change. Thank you so much to Julian Brown. He said, good info, bro. Definitely appreciate you for the support, King. Roy says he's so glad he was able to catch this podcast. Thank y'all for all the love and support. For those of y'all that are looking to donate and sponsor, all you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Now, I will say this. Right now, we are at a tie for the official sponsor of this broadcast. We've got the brother Yasha Allah at $20. He's making his grand return. And we've got Akaman at $20 as also. Okay, so right now, if you want to be an official sponsor for this broadcast, the donation amount is $20 and up. Okay, whoever is the highest sponsor of this podcast will be the official sponsor for this show. All of y'all that donate, y'all are sponsors. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to J Bones for the $1 super sticker. Really appreciate you, man. I really appreciate all the love that y'all have to give. Any of y'all that are on right now that want to donate, all you got to do is tap that dollar icon. For those of you that are donating through Cash App or PayPal, make sure that you let me know so that way I can shout y'all out and give y'all a sponsor title as well. Okay. All right. So now let's get back into this article, y'all. Y'all want to know, when is the Fed looking to raise their interest rates? And what does this mean for you? When interest rates goes up, spending goes down. It's going to be harder for you to borrow money to buy a home, and businesses are also going to cut back on their spending. This article says there's no wage price spiral either. Even though Fed Chief Jerome Powell has expressed concern about wage hikes pushing up prices. To the contrary, workers' real wages have dropped because of inflation. What does real wages mean, guys? Your buying power in society. Okay, here's how to think about it real easy. If I give you $100, but everything costs $500, your real wages are very low. If I give you $100, right? But you had $0 to start off, your overall wages have climbed. Real wages are all about, with the money that you have, what can you really do with it? Okay? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Real wages are about the quality of your dollar. Overall wages are about the quantity of how many dollars you have. So don't get gassed whenever you get a raise at the job, which increases your overall wages. You need to study what your real wages look like in the economy. And see, this is the reason why, guys, when I was in corporate America, whenever I would have my employee evaluation, I would always ask for raises based upon the market standards, not based upon what they had to offer. I'm giving y'all game. A lot of companies will play on your ignorance and offer you a 2% raise because they think you don't know any better. Meanwhile, the market raise means that you really deserve a raise at 5% or more. I never ask for raises based upon what the company is trying to give. I would ask for raises based upon the market standard. When I was working at a project manager role, I would always look at what are the market standards for compensation for project manager at this level. I don't care if you say that you're going to give me a raise. Let me see what the average project manager makes within the industry overall. And then I'm going to bump up my standards above that because I know that I am more valuable than the average project manager. Y'all need to do the same. It's not enough to just get an average raise. You need to make sure that you're getting a raise that will position you and your family to have disposable income. It says, to the contrary, workers' real wages have dropped because of inflation. Even though overall wages have climbed, they failed to keep up with price increases, making most workers worse off in terms of the purchasing power of their dollars. It says wage price spirals used to be a problem. I'm not going to go through this entire article, y'all. I'm just going into some of the high points because I want y'all to understand what this is saying. I want y'all to understand when these elites talk, I want y'all to have a seat at the table, okay? And before you can get there financially, you got to have the know-how and the mindset so that the money will follow. Another thing that it talks about in this article is how now there's so much more power among the businesses than the average person, because back in the day, a lot more workers were unionized, meaning there were unions that could help get you higher raises as well as better workplace conditions. But now most workers are not a part of a union. So because not these companies are no longer being unionized and we are in a global economy, if you're not happy with what you're making, companies can outsource the role like the drop of a dime. The drop of a dime. It's like there's people that they could hire in China, India, Singapore. There's people all around the world, and they'll be willing to work at a comparable rate for less money. They'll put in just as many hours for lesser pay. And this is the reason why y'all will see during every presidential election, one of the biggest things that the president always talks about is jobs. This is the reason why they always talk about outsourcing, because the average American worker does not have as much leverage. This is the reason why I'm always trying to position you to be above average and be exceptional in the workplace, so that way you can leverage your exceptional skill sets and resources so you don't get done like the average working American. The average working American is going to get a raw deal. This is the reason I'm always talking about the middle class being done away with. Y'all got to see where the economy is going, okay? It says these changes have shifted power from labor to capital. There's other things that's talked about in this article. I want to notice what it says right here. Big corporations have no incentive to absorb the rising cost of such supplies, even with profit margins at their highest levels in 70 years. Do y'all know what this is saying? What this is saying is that the rich are getting richer while the poor are getting poorer. The biggest companies in America are still having wild profits, while the average consumer is more stressed because they cannot afford this economy. Big corporations are not digging into their profits because why would they if all they have to do is raise their prices, just like we saw with Amazon Prime? How many of y'all heard about Amazon Prime? That annual subscription is now going up over $20 this year. Amazon got enough money to keep the prices where it's at, but they won't because the people will still pay. They're putting all of the price increase on the consumer. So for the average person that orders Amazon Prime, yeah, you're going to be hurting. Meanwhile, Amazon, they still going to stay filthy rich. This is the reason why we have to make more money. You're not going to get out there and protest for Amazon to start lowering prices. I don't care how many picket signs you have. Businesses are raising their prices. The government is putting these businesses in position to raise their prices. So you, as the average consumer, don't need to cry. You have to level up your skill set so that you get paid your worth. You have to make more money if you want to survive in this economy, my people. Okay? And this is the reason why I'm so passionate about this topic. As these years progress, there's going to be a lot of people that are thrown on the side of poor. It's not going to be a middle class. Either you got it or you don't. And this is how these corporations are playing the game. Notice what it says here. A little bit of inflation is always good in our business, the chief executive of Kroger said last June. We are very good at pricing, the chief executive of Colgate said. So there's a lot of information in this article, y'all. Okay. I'm going to take it back to the top just so y'all can see the title of it again if y'all want to check it out. It says the Fed is about to raise interest rates and shaft American workers. For those of y'all that don't know what shaft means, this means that American workers are getting screwed. But of course, on this podcast, I'm going to show you guys how you can overcome and still dominate within the marketplace. Okay. LA for Life said, be encouraged, Brother Uzziah. We here. Thank you so much for the encouragement. I need that. Listen, man, it's not easy to get on here every day, constantly kicking out a lot of this content. I put a lot of work into this for you guys. Okay. I don't just get on here to just talk. Long before I ever hit a stream, I'm constantly researching to show you guys how you can best manage your money. Okay, so now that we went over this article, I want to tell you guys some of the most critical points from this article that you guys need to be aware of so that way you can make better decisions when it comes to your money. The first thing that I want to talk about is when the article said Fed policymakers are poised to raise interest rates at their March meeting. You guys need to get that down. Make sure that you know that the interest rates are going up in March. So you have from right now until then to buy whatever you're going to buy if it's going to be backed behind a loan. When the interest rates go up, it's going to be that much harder to qualify. They're going to make the loans more expensive. The banks are not going to offer as many loans. If you guys are looking into buying things like real estate and other properties, now is the time. What they said in the article is that they feared that a labor shortage is pushing up wages, which in turn are pushing up prices, and that this wage price spiral could get out of control. Now, that's what the Federal Reserve is saying. So what they're saying is every time that they see these companies are giving people higher wages, that they're predicting that the businesses are going to keep pushing up their prices. And that's why the interest rates are going to start getting higher. They're trying to slow down spending. spending amongst consumers, spending amongst businesses, and we just have to get prepared. In other words, guys, not only is now the time for us to buy in order to qualify for a loan, right now is the time for us to get higher paying positions. This is the reason why I do this podcast. I promise you guys, I don't just, talk about higher interest rates for random news. You may not see how this ties into your life personally, but I could see it clear as day. If you're looking to get a higher paying job, right now is the time. Because whenever the Fed starts raising these interest rates, a lot of businesses are going to cut their spending. They're going to cut on bonuses. They're going to cut on new human resources. And when that happens, who's going to get the short end of the stick is going to be you. You notice how every time y'all see these big recessions, you still see the CEOs getting paid top dollar. But when the recessions happen and the economy gets switched around, who gets hit the hardest? The common person. It's the people in the middle class that have to shoulder all of the consequences of these things happening. And that's the reason why I'm trying to tell you guys to level up right now. So if you guys are looking into getting better jobs, right now is the time. Start looking into some of my older videos that I did on how to get a better job in 90 days. For those of y'all that don't know, I've put together a lot of content in the past showing you guys how to negotiate for higher salaries, exactly what to say and what not to say on an interview. I walk you guys through the entire process of how to get a 4 to 5 figure salary increase, because some of my clients that I have worked with over the years, after I coached them, they went on to make $10,000 salary increases and beyond based upon the things that we discussed. Okay, so make sure that y'all check out that content. It's all on this YouTube channel just for you. If you've yet to do so, make sure that you subscribe. Also, if you guys are looking to get back out in the job market right now, you may also want to get with me for a consultation. So that way I can work with you on improving your resume step by step, because right now is the time that businesses are increasing their wages before the Federal Reserve increases on rates. If Federal Reserve increases on rates and the businesses aren't handing out money that easily, guys, don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, I'm showing you right now how all of this affects you and your family. Okay, now another major point that was stated in this article, whenever Robert Reich said that this is a huge mistake on the Federal Reserve raising the interest rates, he said higher interest rates will harm millions of workers who will be involuntarily drafted into the inflation fight by losing jobs or long overdue pay raises. I already talked about that. He said there's no labor shortage pushing up wages. There's a shortage of good jobs paying adequate wages to support working families. Raising interest rates will worsen this shortage. Guys, this is the reason why we must learn entrepreneurship. We must learn how to create our own money without being completely dependent on corporations to give money to us. I don't care if you still work at a 9-to-5 job and you're doing your business on the side. You need to learn how to start creating new streams of income. Whether that means you set up an online business, whether that means you get involved in some kind of a side gig, you need to start getting into the habit of making money on your own, because there are only but a few real companies who have the money to compensate people based upon where the economy is going. I want y'all to hear me. One of the biggest things that they always talk about during election season is the importance of small businesses. The majority of Americans work for small businesses. But the problem is this economy is getting so crazy that most small businesses cannot afford to pay people buku money. Now, your Amazons and your Teslas of the world, they got the bag like that. But the average entrepreneur, they're struggling to make ends meet, trying to afford expenses, pay vendors, make payroll, and then they're the last ones to make money themselves. The average small business is not positioned right now in order to hire a large volume of people. So even amongst the people that work for these companies, there are only but so many people that can get good paying jobs. This is the reason why Robert Reich is saying the problem is not about the labor shortage. The problem is that there's a shortage of companies that can give out jobs good enough to pay adequate wages to support a family. If you have a family in 2022, you better be making some good money, man. Because as I told you guys on my last broadcast, the average home in America right now costs $375,000. If you want to be a homeowner, you need to be making good pay. But again, the focal point that I want you guys to take away from this is don't cry about these companies only having but so many good paying jobs. You need to take action by increasing your skill set and learning how to make your own money, even if there are not enough good jobs with good pay. You got to make your own jobs. You need to start studying the marketplace and identifying what industries are in high demand and how can you create a product or a service to service the needs of people who have things that they need done. You just need to ask yourself, what problems do people need solved? Okay. So I want you guys to take away from this. I got to improve my skill set. I've got to double down on my skills. Right now, I'm studying to get a new certification because I practice what I preach. You guys got to constantly level up on your skill sets because this economy is very competitive. If you guys are thinking that, oh man, I got a college degree, that's not even that big of a deal anymore because everybody and their mama is getting a college degree. So we constantly have to find new ways to stand out from the crowd. Okay. I'm going to put this link up, guys, for y'all to get on this panel. Okay, I know I've been talking for a minute, but I hope y'all have been getting a lot of value. If you guys have been getting a lot of value from this broadcast, please do me a favor and smash that like button. If you want to see this show continue on air, make sure that you tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Okay, for those of y'all that want to join this panel discussion, I'm putting up the link right now. Okay, I want to get y'all's thoughts on the Federal Reserve raising their interest rates. I want you to give me your perspective on everything that we talked about, and maybe if you have a different point of view, feel free to share. Okay, Lupe says, we hear you, Uzziah. May not be able to type the whole time, but we're soaking it all in. Yes, absolutely. Glad y'all are taking in all this content. Lyra Texan says, will this drop prices on merchandise like land, homes, automobiles? Lyra Texan, don't count on it. Okay. None of you guys should be banking on housing prices or other big expenses to decrease, okay? Typically, whenever inflation comes to the market, that's where it's at. So when you guys are trying to time the market and say, okay, well, I have this house that I'm looking at buying. If it's $500,000 right now, hopefully it'll go down to 430 in the next 6 months. Don't count on it, because there's supposed to be a double-digit increase in the prices of the housing market this year. Guys, prices are going up. We're living in inflation, okay? This is the reason why the Federal Reserve is talking about increasing the interest rates. They're increasing the interest rates because they're trying to slow down the rising cost of living. But just because they're going to slow it down doesn't actually mean that the prices are going to reverse. All that means is, instead of a house going from 500K to 600K in 2 months, they're trying to keep it capped where it's at. Okay, we're going to see if that happens. But again, this is the reason why I keep telling you guys, if you're looking into buying real estate, property, and all that, right now may be the ideal time. Because once the Fed raises the interest rates, there's no guarantee that the home prices will stay the same. You could be looking at more inflated prices while also having to take out a more expensive loan on that property, okay? So right now, guys, if you're going to make certain moves, this is the time. When the Federal Reserve raises their interest rates, what's going to happen is it's going to be more expensive to borrow, and most businesses are going to look to cut spending, which could mean it's going to be harder for you to get a good paying job. Thank you so much, Brian Jackson, for smashing that like button. Okay, really appreciate y'all's support. I just put up the link for y'all to be able to cam up with me if you want to get on the panel for the Generational Wealth podcast. Now is the time. Get on and talk your talk. I want to see what you got to say. Do you believe that the Federal Reserve raising the interest rates is a good thing? Get on the camera and let me know. Do you think that the Federal Reserve, if they were to lower or keep the interest rates where it is right now, do you think that would be a good thing? Do you think that it's a good thing that it's going up? Yes or no? Let me know on this podcast, guys. Make sure that y'all get on camera. All you got to do is click that link below. Okay, now while y'all are doing that, I'm going to keep giving y'all this game. Who else is giving y'all this much game for free? Just a question. This is truly showing you guys how to create generational wealth. Now, there was a comment that was in this article that says, Friday's job report shows that the economy is still 2.9 million jobs below what it had in February 2020. Given the growth of the U.S. population, it's $4.5 million short of what it would have been by now had there been no pandemic. Okay, so this is showing the labor market is short by almost 5 million jobs. Why does this matter? Because this also plays into the crisis about supply chain. Have y'all seen all these supply chain shortages? You go to the grocery store, ain't nothing there. You want to get water, ain't no water. You want to buy certain goods, the goods is delayed. I done moved into a property last December. I'm trying to buy a couch for the living room. The damn couch ain't going to get here until 3 months later. There is a shortage of goods in the marketplace. That plays a role in the economy also. So I'm trying to get you guys to see how raising the interest rates impacts things, what it means when they talk about a supply shortage, a labor shortage, why all of these things matter, and how it impacts you and your bottom line. Being that the US population now has a workforce shortage of almost 5 million jobs, that plays a big part in why companies are starting to pay people more, but why there's so many different goods that are still out at the dock. Why there's still so many different products that's at the water right now and nobody is there to pick them up, okay? All of this plays a part. Another thing that was talked about was consumers are almost tapped out. Not only are real incomes down, but pandemic assistance has ended. What did we talk about when we talked about real income? We talked about the power of the dollar. What does your purchasing power look like? Robert Reed says not only are real incomes down, but pandemic assistance has ended. So there were a lot of you guys that were benefiting from working at a job while also getting that stimulus check. That's done away. Extra jobless benefits are gone. Child tax credits are expired. Can I be honest with y'all for a second? I am very big on you positioning yourself in a place where you don't need a government handout for anything. Okay? If you are relying on the government to bail you out financially, you're going to be in a very slippery place. This is the reason why I'm always showing you guys how to level up your skill set and invest your money so that way you can create generational wealth for years to come. But I gotta keep it a buck and say, damn, why did the child tax credit stop? Right before I'm about to have this baby, y'all. I got a baby on the way. We're due next month. And if the government want to give out this money, man, I'll happily take it. You know, it's not that I won't take the money. It's just that I'm telling you guys not to rely on it, because we have to know how to make money for ourselves. Looks like I missed the boat. Child tax credits have expired. Rent moratoriums are over. I went over this on the last show, guys. And if you guys haven't seen these shows previously, you need to go back and watch them because each show builds on each other. The rent moratoriums are over. Why does this matter? Because do y'all remember how I was telling you guys about how the average home in America is $375,000? In my last broadcast, I talked about how 46% of millennials say that they will never have enough money to get the things that they want out of life. And because there are so many millennials who are pushed out of the housing market because they can't afford to buy a home, that now has increased the price of rent. Because there's a growing demand of people that need apartments and properties to rent out, landlords are going up on the pay. And if for no other reason, they have to, because the cost of living is getting so high. So guys, I want you to see how all of this plays a part. It's a trickle-down effect. See, 2 years ago, the economy was one way because the government was trying to save everybody. They printed out $6 trillion. They gave out all the stimulus money to help people that were losing their jobs. Tax credits came, and guess what else? They made it possible to where you could not get evicted or foreclosed on a home. With all of that going away, guess what's happening? The economy is now changing. And since the rent moratoriums are over, these landlords is looking for their money. They're going up on prices. Guys, can I tell y'all something? In my property that I have in North Austin, the average rent in that neighborhood is $1,600 a month. $1,600. Now, my tenants are real lucky because they ain't getting charged nowhere near $1,600.
Nope.
But this is what's going on in the economy today. Okay, one of the things that it also talked about in the article is that consumer spending actually fell by 0.6% in December, the first decrease since last February. So even though we're at a time of inflation, spending is actually going down. And the last little bit that was talked about in the article was, given all this, the last thing average working people need is for the Fed to raise interest rates and slow the economy further. The problem most people face isn't inflation, it's a lack of good jobs. And once the Federal Reserve raises their interest rates, it's only going to make the problem that much worse. So, guys, what do we do about this? We get the best job that we can right now. We focus on building our skill sets so we can be more competitive in the marketplace. If we were planning on buying something that required a loan, we buy now before interest rates soar. Bank of America predicts that the Federal Reserve could raise the interest rates up to 7 times in 1 year. And if you wait and you take all this thing for a game, don't be surprised if it's harder to qualify for that home. Don't be surprised if it becomes that much harder for you guys to get the loan money that you need. Take action now. If you want to create generational wealth, you have to be forward thinking and ahead of the times. All right, y'all. So that does it for me speaking on all of this. It looks like my brother Yasha Allah, he has taken the lead. He has taken the lead on being the top official sponsor of this broadcast. Shout out to my brother Yasha Allah. Thank you so much, Yasha Allah, for that $5 sponsorship, man. Definitely been missing you on this broadcast. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. Okay. Let's pray for our brother Yasha Allah that he gets better soon. You know, my brother's been talking about feeling under the weather for a little minute now, man. Okay. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about you, King. Okay. But know that I'm praying for you. I love you. And just know that your family here at the Generational Wealth Podcast, we got your back, man. So whatever it is that you need, don't hesitate to let us know. Okay, y'all. I want y'all to know this real quick. There's a lot of you guys that get a lot of value from these podcasts, and you want to know how you can work with me that much further. For those of you guys that are looking to really increase your productivity and your results, you need to join your breakthrough year. Your breakthrough year is my exclusive 12-month elite coaching program that shows you how to master your time, your money, and your energy. On this podcast, I've been breaking down all of the things that are going to be happening in a relatively short amount of time. So if you want to know how to improve your time management and how to get much better with your money, you need to join that program. I've had multiple clients that have gone through that program who have paid off over 6 figures worth of debt. I've got guys that have paid off medical bills, credit cards, student loans, house payments, car notes, all of the above. If you guys are really looking to make a positive impact in your life, you need to get into this program, guys, because I've created it so that you can get to the next level. If you want to make 2022 the year that you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, then make sure that you click the link below. Okay, I've put it on the screen so that y'all can see. Here's the information for you to join your breakthrough year. Also, I've made this so easy for you guys. I'm giving you guys free access into the program for the first 14 days. Okay. This program, it's only $29 a month, guys. Okay. But for those of you that want to check it out, I'm giving it to you guys for a free 14-day trial. You can get in there, start checking out the videos. And if you feel that the content is valuable, then feel free to stay on board. If not, you can make your way out. No harm done. Listen, if you guys get a lot of value from my free content, then you already know a lot of my other programs are on a totally different level. A lot of you guys are familiar with my free book, The How to Succeed Survival Guide. Okay. Lupe told you guys about my flagship premier program from 0 to 6 figures. There's so many different programs, guys, that I offer, showing you guys how to get better jobs, showing you guys how to make more money, showing you guys how to improve your time management. But you've got to be willing to invest in you. Okay. So I thank you guys so much for all of your sponsorship. Once again, if you guys are looking to see this show continue to be on air, please do me a favor, y'all, and make sure that y'all donate. Okay. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below. And wait a minute, Yasha Allah. Wait a minute. It looks like the brother Malawaki 40, who also is known as Akaman, he just took the spot of the top sponsor on this podcast. It could get a little competitive. For those of y'all that have been on this show before, y'all know when it comes to being that official sponsor, it gets real. So right now we have Akaman, who's at $30 in total for his sponsorship. Okay, he got that $20 sponsorship from earlier on top of the 10 he just put up now, versus the 25 that came from Yasha Allah through his $5 sponsorship that he made 5 minutes ago, on top of the original $20 sponsorship he made in the last hour. Okay, so right now, if you guys are looking to be the official sponsor, the top sponsor of today's broadcast, the going rate is $31 and up. Right now, Akaman, he's holding the title, y'all, at $30. If you guys want to have that official sponsor spot, it's going to have to be $31 or more in total. Okay. Now, one question that Lyra Texan asked a little bit earlier: will the interest rate hike cause these bubbles to pop? That's a very interesting question. We'll see. There's a lot of people right now who are talking about the stock market being at its bottom. However, if the Federal Reserve raises the interest rates, we could see stock prices drop that much lower, all because when the Federal Reserve raises their interest rates, that makes businesses cut back on spending. When businesses cuts back on spending, consumers also cut back on spending, which means they don't pay the businesses as much. If the businesses are not making as much money, that impacts their bottom line. If that impacts their bottom line, then the perceived value of that company in the marketplace can drop. And so we need to start paying attention to what's going to happen to these stocks whenever the interest rates go up. Maybe a bubble could pop. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. But one thing that, again, in the defense of the Federal Reserve is increasing the interest rates because they're trying to stop more bubbles from popping. And that's the reason why we just gotta go through it. For those of y'all that have been on some of my earlier podcasts, I've been telling you guys for some time that with everything that happened in 2020, America created a dynamic where the economy was artificially inflated. And now we're going to have to deal with the consequences of that for years to come. There's not going to be any easy way around it. We're just going to have to deal with it head on. So when the Fed raises their interest rates, it's going to be a little bit difficult on people, but got to do what we got to do. Wait a minute. Akaman, Yasha Allah said sorry. He said, I don't know if you know how this works, but Yasha Allah said, I'm running the show. Yasha Allah said he's going to hold it down as being the official sponsor. Man, I remember there was once upon a time that sister LA for life, she took no prisoners, man. There was once upon a time that sister, if you was on a podcast when she was on there, she would take the official spot night after night. If you would try and take it, she would snatch your soul. I think that that's becoming Yasha Allah now. I think Yasha Allah now, he's the official soul snatcher. So sorry, we're now back to Yasha Allah having the top spot on the official sponsors of tonight's podcast, y'all. So let's make sure that we get a round of applause going for him. Thank you, my brother.
Another one.
Thank you. Y'all, if y'all hear my nose, being a little stuffed up, y'all just bear with me, man. Y'all know we're getting past flu/allergy season. So just like Yasha Allah, man, I've been in recovery myself. That was the reason why I had to slow down on some of these shows, but your boy is back. Who knows? I may do another show tomorrow. Let's tally it up. Yasha Allah, he's got his 10. He just put up another 5. So that's 15 on top of the 20 he already had. So that's 35. Right now, Yasha Allah is leading the way at $35 sponsorship versus Akaman, who put up 20. Then he put up 30. So right now it is Akaman's 30 versus Yasha Allah's 35. Will Yasha Allah take the crown as the official sponsor for tonight's podcast? Inquiring minds want to know. We're all asking the question. Who's going to be the official sponsor of this podcast? If you guys want that top spot, right now it's got to be at $35 or more. If you guys are looking to donate, all you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box. I sincerely appreciate the help, okay? I strive my hardest, y'all, to give y'all as much value as I can. And that's the reason why Yasha Allah and Akaman is going neck and neck. And that's the reason why Akaman then snatched the crown once again as being the top sponsor on this podcast. Listen, man, I might need to put up a link to Cam Up. We might have to talk about this. We might need to have a conversation. We might need to have a panel discussion. We may need to start taking bets. Who is going to be the official sponsor for tonight's podcast? Is it going to be Akaman? Is it going to be Yasha Allah? Is somebody else going to pop out the woodworks and blow them both away? It might be that somebody pop out the woodwork with a $50 sponsorship, and then they walk away with the crown for being the official sponsor of this podcast. You never know. You guys that have been on before, you just never know how these things can go. So let's tally it up real quick, y'all. And if y'all have given a Cash App or a PayPal sponsorship, please make sure that y'all let me know now. So that way I can check all of my stuff. I can give y'all the respect y'all deserve and go from there. So let's, oh man, I can't even tally Akaman up because Yasha Allah just came through with another $15 sponsorship. I might need to get some help from y'all tallying this thing up. Right now, Yasha Allah and Akaman, it's a clash of the titans, y'all. We've got the brother Yasha Allah, who just gave another $15 sponsorship.
Another one.
He is looking like he might walk away with the title. Akaman, are you going to let that happen? Is Yasha Allah going to walk away with the title, or is it going to be Akaman? I want to know in the comment section what y'all think. Who do y'all think is going to walk away as being the official sponsor of tonight's broadcast? I don't know who's going to take it on my end. I'm just counting the numbers, y'all. Okay. So for those of y'all on, in case you've yet to do so, make sure that y'all smash that like button. And if you want to be one of the sponsors on this podcast, make sure that you donate. Okay. It goes a very long way. All right, y'all. So listen, I gotta pull out my calculator now, y'all. Y'all know I ain't that good with numbers. We got Yasha Allah that just put up a $15 sponsorship. And then he had another $10 sponsorship. Okay, that's 25. Then he put up another 5. So that's 30. And then he had his original sponsorship at 20. So he's at $50 right now. Yasha Allah's at that $50 level. Yes, let's give a shout out to our brother Yasha Allah. Thank you so much for helping to make this show possible. Thank you for helping keep us online. I think, you know what I think what Yasha Allah is doing, Ariel? I think that Yasha Allah is making up for lost time, man, on all of those shows that he missed out on. Man, my brother was MIA. Y'all know, man, Yasha Allah typically be on here every show, donating, camming up. But the brother's been sick. He's been under the weather, and now he's back with a vengeance. Yasha Allah right now just put up his $50 sponsorship in total. But Akaman, he takes no prisoners. The brother Akaman, he put up $20. Okay. And let me know if somebody's going to throw in the towel. I don't know if that's going to happen yet, but let me know if we got an official winner. Okay. Akaman, $20, $30, $40. So right now it is Yasha Allah's 50 versus Akaman's 40. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. I think Akaman, you have gotten this brother Yasha Allah back on camera. He got something he want to say to you, man. Brother Yasha Allah, how you doing?
My head. Hold on. My mic.
Okay, yes, I'm just give me a thumbs up whenever you're good to go, and I'll bring you back on the broadcast. Okay, you good to go. All right, y'all. Let's give a big round of applause for the one, the only, our brother Yasha Allah. Good to see you on, sir. Good to see you on. Man, I missed you, man. I missed you. You know, all week I was asking myself, damn, you know, is he not able to see the shows anymore because I'm doing them a little bit earlier? Does he know that I'm still doing the show because we changed the YouTube title? Man, I've been wondering about you all week, King. It's so good to see you on. How you doing?
Shalom, big brother. I'm getting a lot better.
Good, man. Good, man. I think I might have got hit with whatever bug you got, man.
You had the flu, and I was dehydrated. So I was out for a whole week, and then I tried to go back to work. 2 days, there's a half a day, back sick again. And right now, I'm back in the cold. Cold. They have me at the job, paying me extra tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I got to bundle up. But my brother Makawat, nah, sorry, brother. I might be out, but I ain't dead.
I hear that. Wow. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I hope you heard that. I hope you heard that, Akaman. He said, listen, man, don't count me out, man. He said, I know it's been a minute since I've been on, but listen, I'm back and I'm ready to take the crown, man. Y'all got to show this brother his respect. Top official sponsor of the podcast. Thank you as always, sir. Did you have any thoughts on the show for today?
Well, you're right. The dollar bill is going high. I mean, it's getting low because even buying parts is just expensive. I don't know what. You got to wait 5 weeks to get a part. Like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? Sir. So, but it's 10 times higher. I know that because I got to buy parts. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people don't. I see the job market. I go to places like the week today. I just came from Florida. Staff. They got to close the building. Restaurant. I'm a truck driver. What am I eat? You know what I'm saying? But that's the way it is.
And you got there's a little bit of static coming from your line every now and then. I can still hear you, but it gets a little staticky every now and then. But I like the fact that you said that you can see the prices going up. And I think this is the reason why it was so important that people understand the difference between real income and overall income. You know, when I was talking about that real income, I was talking about your buying power, how far your dollar is able to go. You know, people might see, oh, okay, I'm getting a raise, but you might be getting a raise at the job, and that may not mean as much, all because the cost of living is actually outpacing your earnings. So I'm so happy that you touched on that a little bit, Yasha Allah, because like I said, you know, there's so many people that I want to educate and let them know, hey, listen, just because you're getting a raise, you still need to make sure that you're being competitive within the market. A lot of these industries are going up, but you got to find ways to create other streams of income so that you could still make the money that you need to afford, you know, cost of living.
Right, and you're correct on that. And just like a lot of job markets shifting, like transportation, they can't even, if you saw where I'm at, we have to double pack and triple pack containers. It's not being moved because they don't want to pay the money.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And they hope to find a driver who would me. I won't take it. I tell them quick, this is my price. You know the price. This is what got to pay me. That's just the way it is.
Yes,
but
sir.
The shipyards, everything's changing over. You got to be, like you said, be prepared. That's all you got to do, because the other people, they I'm not gonna put your names on here.
Yeah.
50-cent raise. They're like, that's okay. Left, mechanic left. He got a $10 raise. Competitive.
Mm.
You know what I mean? We're not being competitive. I don't get it. We're not. I don't get it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, man, because there was another article that I may want to share on the next broadcast, and it was talking about how in our community we have to focus on getting not only more competitive, but even in some ways a little bit more selfish. What it was saying when it was talking about getting a little bit more selfish is a lot of times, even when we make money, we feel a certain sense of guilt to almost give it all away. And so I may want to talk about that in another article, you know what I mean? Because I think we need to see all of the factors that goes into creating generational wealth. You know, what I try to get people to understand on this podcast is it's not just about the dollar amount of how much you make. There's a lot of other factors, and I try to educate the people on understanding what those things are, so that way you don't focus on how much money you make, but actually how much money you keep for future generations. Anything else before we get up out of here? I'm not seeing nothing from Akaman. It looks like he may have thrown in the towel. So, you know, if you want to go ahead and give your acceptance speech, you can feel free to do so, sir, because you know it's getting a little quiet now. If anybody want to hop in this ring, just know the brother Yasha Allah, he didn't put his sponsorship down at $50 in total. So if you're trying to be the top sponsor of the broadcast, it's got a top 50. If y'all are looking to sponsor the show and be an overall sponsor, please feel free to do so. Anything that you can donate helps. Any last words, Yasha Allah, before we bring this thing to a close, champ?
Yes, brothers and sisters, I'm still here. I ain't dead. I'm hanging in there, but I ain't dead yet. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And even if I do, Lord, if I don't, it's up to his to take me away or not. Brother Uzziah will still get a super chat. I don't. I'm burying him. He'll still be getting the super chat. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad I'm here. I'm hanging in there. So this coat I got, it's a special coat. It makes me trying to sweat it. You know what I mean? So
good.
But make sure you do that. And when you get older, it's hard to break anything you catch. I'm sorry. That's the way it is, man. It's difficult. But thank you, my brothers. Thank you, sisters.
I hear that, man. Well, hey, man, you're still looking good. Happy to see you still pressing forward, man. You continue to be an inspiration to us all. And thank you so much, as always, for the support. I've been missing you, my brother. Love you, man. And I definitely am praying for your safe recovery. And let me know whatever I can do to help.
Okay. You're welcome, brother.
All right, now. So listen, y'all, it has been an amazing broadcast. I thank you so much all for joining. Did y'all get a lot of value from this show, y'all? Thank you so much for all of your support as always. I definitely want to take a moment to give a shout out to all of the sponsors. Let me take a quick moment to shout out my brother, Lyra Texan the Israelite. Thank you so much for that $10 sponsorship. Thank you as always, King. Really appreciate the support. I want to shout out Jay Bones for giving that $1 sponsorship. Really appreciate you also. Wait a minute. Just when we thought we counted him out, the Akaman, he rises from the ashes to make another $20 sponsorship. Do y'all see this? This is crazy, man. This is crazy. I thought Yasha Allah had it. I thought Yasha Allah had the crown. We was rolling the trophies out. We was letting the brother give his acceptance speech. And all the while, this brother Akaman said, nope. So now we got to go back to square one. We got to go back to the drawing board. And we got to tally up where we are. So now Akaman, he has put up another $20 sponsorship. Thank you, Ak. Okay, so he put up 20, 30, 40. I believe this now takes him to $60 in total versus Yasha Allah's 20, man, we're gonna need an official scorekeeper in a minute, y'all. 25, 35, 50. Wait a minute. What just happened? I think Yasha Allah just put up another 25. I think Yasha Allah might be a 75. I think Yasha Allah may be leading the pack once again with a $75 sponsorship. Yasha Allah, you just got back on to say something, didn't you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, my phone.
You just went mute, but I could hear you. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, but I'm still here, Michael. I ain't going nowhere. You see the other one I put up there, right, big brother? Nah, I'm here to stay. Better believe that.
Yo, come on. What's going on, man? Where you at? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Okay, so now I'm telling you, man, I need me some moderators, y'all. I need me some moderators because we got to start now keeping count. We got to start keeping count, y'all. I'm doing my best to count from over here, but we might need some moderators, man, to start doing this thing for real, for real. Okay, so Yasha Allah, he put up 25, 40, 50, 55, 75. Yasha Allah is at $75 in total sponsorships. For those of y'all that don't know what's going on, whoever it makes the highest total sponsorship on this podcast will be the official sponsor of this podcast. Today, it went down. This was a very, very hot topic. I talked about how the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates next month. And it looks like the brother Yasha Allah and Akaman, they want to have their name as the official sponsors on this broadcast. So right now, we got Yasha Allah, leading the way at $75 total sponsorship. Okay. And then we have Ak Aman coming in right after him. Now we're going to tally Ak Aman's. Okay. So Ak put up 20, 30, 40, 60. Okay, so it's Ox 60 versus Yasha Allah's 75. So in order to be the official sponsor for tonight's broadcast, you got to go over $75 in total. Listen, y'all, isn't the community for the Generational Wealth Podcast amazing? Listen, man, it gets real. It gets competitive. I tried to warn y'all. LA for life, if you could see this, just know it's going down. You used to be that top contender, that top competitor. But now LA for life, Yasha Allah done heard about you, and he said, nah. I'm taking the crown now.
Nope.
Anybody else to think that they taking the crown, y'all not taking it no more, because now Yasha Allah say he taking it. Yasha Allah's at 75. Okay, so how we looking, Akaman? You throwing in the towel? Are we giving the crown officially to Brother Yasha Allah? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm keeping the broadcast on for you. We need to get an official word on who is the official sponsor on this podcast. So listen, I'm going to give it a few more minutes. I'm going to see what Akaman's talking about. Is he sponsoring? Is he throwing in the towel? Right now, it is Yasha Allah's $75 leading the way for the official sponsorship, with Akaman's $60 sponsorship coming in second place. Let me make sure that I tallied up Akaman's number. Once again, I want to be a fair brother, okay? We've got Akaman at 20, 30, 40, and then we had him at that original 20, which is 60. So right now, it's looking like 60 versus Yasha Allah's 75. Okay. Listen, man, I don't know. I think yes. I think that does it, y'all. I think it does it, y'all. Akaman says he's throwing in the towel. Watch out next time from one driver to another. Listen, man, this brother Akaman, his car washes be looking so good. I'll be wanting to drive my car all the way to Louisiana just to get my car washed. Make sure that you put your business out there, man. Okay, for any of y'all that are watching this thing all the way out in Louisiana, my brother is an elite car specialist. Details, car washes, you name it, the brother does it. I'm telling y'all, man, this brother be making me want to take my car all the way from the middle of Texas all the way out to Louisiana, just so that way he could bless it, man, with his car wash services. So as always, for those of y'all that are entrepreneurs, man, if you want to make sure that you promote your business on this platform, feel free to do so. Thank you once again, King. Really appreciate your sponsorship, man. Let's give a big round of applause to our brother Akaman for that $60 sponsorship. Really appreciate it, man.
Another one.
All right, y'all. Listen, yes, A&I Services. And if there's anything else that you want to drop, feel free to do so, man. My platform is yours. Let me know if there's anything else that you need to drop, and we'll go ahead and give you some good promo on here while we can, okay? So listen, y'all, it has been amazing. It has been wonderful, okay? I'm definitely looking forward to having you on cam, and you could talk a little bit about that business so we can give your business the right promo that it deserves. Thank you to everyone who sponsored tonight's podcast. And make sure, y'all, that y'all give a big round of applause to our official sponsor, the one, the only, my brother Yasha Allah. Thank you so much, as always, sir, for your support. Listen, y'all.
Another one.
Out of here, man. Thank you so much for all of y'all support. Make sure that y'all smash that like button. Okay, it only takes a second, y'all, but it goes a really long way towards growing this channel. If you have yet to do so, please make sure that you hit subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that way you can receive a notification whenever I do another show. Okay, I may end up doing another podcast tomorrow. I'm gonna see y'all. I got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. I love y'all. I thank y'all so much for the support. Continue to stay focused, continue to level up with your money, and until next time, keep pushing.